HSBC Main Building is a headquarters building of the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, which is today a wholly owned subsidiary of London-based HSBC Holdings. It is located along the southern side of Statue Square near the location of the old City Hall, Hong Kong. The previous HSBC building was built in 1935 and pulled down to make way for the current building. The address remains as 1 Queen's Road Central. The building can be reached from exit K of Central MTR station and facing Statue Square. History. The first HSBC building was Wardley House, used as HSBC office between 1865 to 1882 on the present site. In 1864 the lease cost 500 Hong Kong dollars a month. After raising a capital of 5 million Hong Kong dollars, the bank opened its door in 1865. It was demolished in 1886 and rebuilt in the same year. The main feature of the second building design was the division of the structure into 2 almost separate buildings. The building on Queen's Road Central was in Victorian style with a veranda, colonnades and an octagonal dome, whereas the arcade which harmonized with the adjacent buildings was constructed on Des Voeux Road. In 1935, the second building was demolished and a third design was erected. The third design used part of the land of the old City Hall, and was built in a mixed Art Deco and stripped classical style. During the Japanese occupation of Hong Kong, the building served as the government headquarters. Locally, it was the first building in Hong Kong to be fully air-conditioned. By the 1970s the bank had outgrown its headquarters. Departments were scattered into offices all over central Hong Kong, and it was obvious that such a solution to the space limitations could not continue indefinitely. In 1978 the bank decided to tear down its headquarters and rebuild it again. The building was finished on November 18, 1985. At the time, it was the most expensive building in the world. The first major addition to the building, designed by Hong Kong's One Space Limited, was completed on November 23, 2006, in the form of a ground-floor lobby that improves security access to the upper floors and creates a prestigious reception area. Its design and construction included the installation of the Asian Story Wall, a multimedia installation consisting of twin banks of 30 seamless plasma screens displaying archived bank heritage and artworks. The atrium of the HSBC building was the site of the Occupy Hong Kong protests which maintained a presence in the building from October 15, 2011 until their eviction in September 2012. Design. The new building was designed by the British architect Norman, Lord Foster and civil and structural engineers Ove Arup and Partners with service design by J. Roger Preston and Partners, and was constructed by Wimpy International. From the concept to completion, it took 7 years. The building is 180 meters high with 47 stories and 4 basement levels. The building has a modular design consisting of 5 steel modules prefabricated in the UK by Scott Lithgow shipbuilders near Glasgow, and shipped to Hong Kong. About 30,000 tons of steel and 4,500 tons of aluminium were used. The original design was heavily inspired by the Douglas Gilling-designed Qantas International Centre in Sydney. The new lobby and its 2-part Asian Story Wall were designed by Greg Pearce, of One Space Limited. Pearce was also the principal architect of the Hong Kong Airport Express station. Conceived as a minimalist glass envelope, the new lobby is designed to be deferential to Foster's structure and appears almost to be part of the original. The building is also one of the few to not have elevators as the primary carrier of building traffic. Instead, elevators only stop every few floors, and floors are interconnected by escalators. Characteristics. The main characteristic of HSBC Hong Kong headquarters is its absence of internal supporting structure. Another notable feature is that natural sunlight is the major source of lighting inside the building. There is a bank of giant mirrors at the top of the atrium, which can reflect natural sunlight into the atrium and hence down into the plaza. Through the use of natural sunlight, this design helps to conserve energy. Additionally, sun shades are provided on the external facades to block direct sunlight going into the building and to reduce heat gain. Instead of fresh water, seawater is used as coolant for the air conditioning system. All flooring is made from lightweight movable panels, under which lies a comprehensive network of power, telecommunication, and air conditioning systems. This design was to allow equipment such as computer terminals to be installed quickly and easily. Because of the urgency to finish the project, the construction of the building relied heavily on off-site prefabrication. Components were manufactured all over the world. For example, the structural steel came from Britain. The glass, aluminium cladding and flooring came from the United States, while the service modules came from Japan. The inverted bar segments of the suspension trusses spanning the construction at double height levels is the most obvious characteristic of the building. It consists of 8 groups of 4 aluminium-clad steel columns which ascend from the foundations up through the core structure, and 5 levels of triangular suspension trusses which are locked into these masts. Feng shui. The early British settlers in Hong Kong had an interest in Feng shui. Thus, most of the earliest buildings in Hong Kong, and many buildings constructed thereafter, were built with the philosophies of Feng shui in mind. The Chinese believe that those who have a direct view of a body of water, whether it is a river, a sea, or an ocean, are more likely to prosper than those who do not. The HSBC building has a wide open area in front of it, with no other buildings blocking its view of Victoria Harbour. Thus, it is considered to have good Feng shui. Even though the Hong Kong government is proposing extending the existing coastline further out into the harbour in its latest land reclamation project, it will still set aside space so that no new developments will block the HSBC building's view of the harbour. HSBC Canons In the CBC television series Doc Zone episode Superstitious Minds, writer, researcher and associate producer Tom Pucknaik asserts that the design of the nearby Bank of China Tower ignored Feng shui principles, and created instant controversy by evoking 2 knife edges, one pointing towards the British Government House, another towards the HSBC building. After the Bank of China building opened, a series of mishaps occurred, including the death of the governor, and a downturn in the city's economy. To defend against the negative energy from the Bank of China building, HSBC installed 2 concrete cannons on the roof, pointing directly at the Bank of China. According to Feng Shui master Paul Hung, this solved the problem, and HSBC experienced no harmful results after that. Lion statues. When HSBC decided to build its third headquarters at 1 Queen's Road Central, opened in 1935, it commissioned 2 bronze lions from Shanghai-based British sculptor W. W. Exstaff. This commission was inspired by 2 earlier lions that had been ordered for the new Shanghai office opened in 1923. Cast by J. W. Singer and Sons in the English town of Feng, to a design by Henry Poole R.A., these lions had quickly become part of the Shanghai scene, and passers-by would affectionately stroke the lions in the belief that power and money would rub off on them. They became known as Stephen and Stite, an in-joke. Stephen was named for A. G. Stephen, formerly manager Shanghai, and in 1923 the chief manager of HSBC, and G. H. Stite, the then manager Shanghai. Stephen is depicted roaring, Stite quiescent, and again insiders said that this represented the characters of these 2 famous bankers. Exstaff worked with Shanghai Arts and Crafts foreman Chu Yin-sin, who in an interview with John Locke of HSBC's House magazine Group News in June 1977 recalled that when he first joined Arts and Crafts he worked with Exstaff for 2 years to make the lions. Without having to learn a word of English, Exstaff spoke perfect Shanghai dialect. Hunchbacked, Exstaff was nicknamed La Dupe, meaning old hunchback. His son, inevitably, was called Saudupe young hunchback. Exstaff had 2 sons, Don, killed in naval service in the war, and Alex, killed while interned in Shanghai by the Japanese. Chu Yin-sin himself came to Hong Kong in 1935, and by 1977 was the proprietor of Jazing Metalworks and still casting bronze for HSBC. Like the Shanghai lions, the Hong Kong lions became objects of veneration, and foci of the bank's perceived excellent Feng shui. Young couples still bring their toddlers to stroke the paws and noses of the statues hoping for luck and prosperity. When the 1935 building closed its doors for the last time on June 26, 1981, the Lions had been moved to the annex on June 19, 1981. Demolition, by China-Swiss engineers, started on July 6, 1981. The Lions were temporarily moved on June 4, 1982 to Statue Square, opposite the main entrance. As a mark of the respect the Lions were held in, the move to Statue Square, and the move back in 1985, were accompanied by the chairman Sir Michael Sandberg and senior management of the bank, and the placement of the Lions both temporarily and in their current locations was made only after extensive consultations with Feng Shui practitioners. Their 4-year sojourn in the annex and Statue Square aside, the Lions have only left their positions as guardians of the Desvua Road entrance of the bank once. They were confiscated by the Japanese and sent to Japan to be melted down. Luckily the war ended before this could happen, and the Lions were recognized by an American sailor in a dockyard in Osaka in 1945. They were returned a few months later and restored to their original positions in October 1946. The Hong Kong Lions are also called Stephen and Stite, and the Hong Kong Stephen has bullet or shrapnel scars in its left hindquarters dating from the fighting in the Battle of Hong Kong. When this pair of Lions was used as the model for the pair commissioned for the new UK headquarters of HSBC in 2002, Zambian-born New Zealand sculptor Mark Kennedy was asked not to reproduce these war wounds in the copies. They had to earn their own battle scars. The following is a list of bronze copies and recasts of the HSBC Lions. In China, Shanghai, a Euro sculpted by Henry Poole R.A., cast by J.W. Stinger and Sons. The originals are held by the Shanghai Historic Museum and are separately on display at the museum's display room under the Oriental Pearl Tower and the Shanghai Banking Museum, both in Luzhui. Hong Kong, a Euro modeled on Shanghai originals. Sculpted by W. W. Extauff, cast by Shanghai Arts and Crafts. Shanghai, a Euro copies of Shanghai originals, commissioned by the government-owned Shanghai Pudong Development Bank after it obtained the former HSBC building. Shanghai, a Euro copies of Hong Kong Lions. In the United Kingdom, London, a Euro copies of Hong Kong Lions. Cast by Bronze Age Foundry, Limehouse, at the direction of Mark Kennedy. Various other HSBC branches throughout the world feature small-scaled replicas of these originals, with varying degrees of faithfulness. Other HSBC branches often feature guardian lions to different designs, such as Chinese guardian lions. Lighting scheme. In 2003, the Hong Kong Tourism Board developed a harbour lighting plan called a Symphony of Lights, a large-scale multimedia show featuring lighting, laser, music, and occasionally special pyrotechnics effects during festivals, to promote tourism in Hong Kong. The show is based on the illumination of key buildings on the Hong Kong Island side, and is best viewed from the Kowloon side across the Victoria Harbour. The HSBC Hong Kong headquarters building is one of the participating buildings in the show. The building has been installed with 716 intelligent lighting units, including 450 Martin Professional Cycle 003 color-changing fluorescent fixtures in the glass stairwells, Martin Professional Exterior 600s and Exterior 200 fixtures on 5 levels, 8 searchlights, and over 1 kilometer of LED lighting around the top. Completed by mid-December 2003, the cost of installation is estimated to be 5.5 million Hong Kong dollars. Intelligent lighting is distributed across 6 sections of the building: vertical ladder trusses, exoskeleton, inner plus outer, refuge floors, northwest stairwell, eastern stairwells, roof building maintenance units. HSBC has always aimed to adopt a new lighting scheme because Foster did not pay much attention to the illumination of the building at nighttime. See also, List of buildings and structures in Hong Kong, Economy of Hong Kong, HSBC Centre in Tai Kok Tsui, Kowloon, HSBC buildings around the world, virtual tours, HSBC headquarters building, Statue Square, Hong Kong. References. External links: The Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, Unique Headquarters, HSBC Headquarters Building in Hong Kong, a Euro from different angles, Foster and Partners, One Space Limited, Recent illumination of the HSBC headquarters building in Hong Kong.